Have you ever noticed a woman suddenly pulling away just when things seem to be going well? She laughs less, responds slower, or even seems uninterested. You might think it is rejection, but what if it is actually a test, a secret trick to measure your confidence? Psychology shows that many women, often without realizing it, use subtle games to gauge how secure, composed, and self-assured a man truly is. When a woman acts distant, she is not always losing interest, she is watching your reactions, observing whether you crumble, chase, or stay calm. Studies in social psychology reveal that humans are wired to pick up on subtle cues of insecurity. A confident response can dramatically increase attraction, while panic or overeagerness can push her away. It is fascinating, and slightly unsettling, how these interactions are often unconscious on her part, yet they reveal so much about human behavior. Today, we are diving deep into this dark psychology, exposing the hidden layers of social testing, and teaching you how to recognize the signs, understand the motives, and respond without losing your own power. The psychology behind fake disinterest. Have you ever noticed that when a woman suddenly pulls back, it feels confusing? One moment she seems interested, laughing at your jokes, paying attention, and the next, she's distant, replying late, or giving short answers. Most men interpret this as rejection, but psychology tells a different story. This behavior is often a subtle test, an unconscious way to measure your confidence and emotional stability. Humans, especially women, are wired to assess potential partners not just by words but by reactions to uncertainty. When a woman appears disinterested, she is watching how you respond under pressure. Do you chase her, become needy, or stay calm? Your reaction sends signals about your self-esteem, emotional intelligence, and stability. Social psychologists call this a form of social testing. Studies show that women often gauge a man's reliability and confidence through indirect cues. Evolutionary psychology explains it further. In the past, being able to stay composed under uncertainty was a trait that indicated security and resourcefulness. A man who overreacted could be seen as unstable or needy. Today, the principle still applies in subtle ways. For example, if she cancels plans or seems cold for a few hours, she may be unconsciously evaluating how you handle disappointment or distance. It is important to understand that this is not about manipulation, it's part of natural social behavior. Many women are unaware they are testing, it happens instinctively. But for men, recognizing this pattern is crucial. Instead of assuming the worst or reacting impulsively, you can interpret her actions as a signal to maintain your calm and composure. Psychological research emphasizes that measured responses under testing conditions increase perceived attractiveness. Let's also consider body language. A woman might smile less, avoid prolonged eye contact, or subtly pull away physically. Verbal cues include giving short answers, avoiding compliments, or changing topics quickly. Each of these signals tests your ability to handle uncertainty without losing confidence. The brain notices micro-behaviors, and your calm response reinforces your attractiveness. Understanding this psychology allows you to see distance not as rejection but as a natural social evaluation. By staying composed, you not only protect your self-esteem but also demonstrate the very traits women are instinctively assessing: confidence, emotional regulation, and stability. Reacting emotionally or chasing her only confirms insecurity, which reduces attraction. Recognizing these patterns is the first step in mastering interaction. It is not about pretending to be someone you're not. It is about being aware of unconscious dynamics and responding intentionally. When you grasp this concept, you start seeing disinterest as a tool, a subtle test you can pass by maintaining self-control, emotional intelligence, and confidence, common signs she's testing you. One of the most confusing aspects of female behavior is when interest and disinterest seem to switch rapidly. Recognizing the subtle signs that she is testing you can save you from overthinking or making mistakes. The first sign is inconsistent communication. One day she's texting quickly and laughing at your jokes, and the next day, her replies are short or delayed. This inconsistency is often a deliberate test, whether she realizes it or not, to see how you handle uncertainty. Do you get anxious, overthink, or do you stay calm and composed? Another common sign is controlled distance. She may engage in conversation but keep it superficial, avoiding personal topics. She might ask questions about you but redirect the conversation when it gets too personal. This is a way to measure patience and confidence. Men who respond with frustration or insistence may fail the test, while those who stay relaxed and confident pass it. Body language also plays a huge role. She might smile subtly but avoid prolonged eye contact, or lean away slightly during conversation. Small gestures like fidgeting, looking at her phone frequently, or playing with her hair can be indicators of internal evaluation. Your reaction to these behaviors, whether you become tense, anxious, or indifferent, communicates more than words ever could. Verbal cues include teasing, playful sarcasm, or indirect challenges. For example, she may jokingly question your abilities or tease you about something trivial. These are not necessarily insults, they are subtle measures of your self-esteem and confidence. The key is how you respond. Responding with calm humor or confidence signals stability, while defensive reactions signal insecurity. Even social situations can act as tests. She may introduce you to friends or strangers in a way that challenges your composure, like hinting at your past or making ambiguous statements. How you carry yourself in these moments communicates your emotional resilience. Psychologists note that women often look for men who can navigate uncertainty without overreacting because it demonstrates reliability and emotional control, qualities historically associated with better partnership and protection. Understanding these signs is empowering. When you notice inconsistent communication, subtle teasing, controlled distance, or testing gestures, you can interpret them as opportunities to showcase confidence rather than triggers for insecurity. Recognizing patterns allows you to respond intentionally rather than react impulsively, which is what the testing scenario is designed to evaluate. Passing these subtle tests is less about manipulation and more about self-awareness. You don't need to play games, you just need to maintain emotional stability, composure, and confidence under subtle pressure. These traits increase attraction and reduce unnecessary stress in interactions. How to respond to her tests. Responding to her subtle tests is a delicate balance. The first rule is to stay calm. When she gives inconsistent signals, like showing interest one moment and acting distant the next, your reaction is critical. Do you panic and overanalyze, or do you maintain composure? Calmness communicates confidence for more than words ever could. Humor is another powerful tool. Light teasing or playful banter shows that you are not easily shaken by her attempts to unsettle you. For example, if she jokes about your past mistakes or questions your abilities, responding with a witty or relaxed comment rather than defensiveness signals emotional maturity. This not only passes her unspoken test but can also deepen attraction. Nonverbal communication is equally important. Stand tall, maintain steady eye contact, and avoid fidgeting. These subtle cues project confidence. If she is observing your reactions, body language can speak louder than what you say. Even in moments when she acts cold or distant, your calm posture and steady presence demonstrate control over your emotions, which she may subconsciously interpret as strength. Setting boundaries is essential. Testing behavior often thrives when there are no limits. If she teases or challenges you in ways that make you uncomfortable, it's okay to assertively but politely express your feelings. For instance, you can respond, "I get your point, but I prefer honesty." Boundaries show that you respect yourself, which is a key indicator of confidence. Timing your responses also matters. Don't feel compelled to reply instantly to every text or social cue. Deliberate pacing communicates that your life is balanced and not centered solely around her reactions. Psychologically, people are more attracted to those who appear self-sufficient and emotionally independent. If you constantly chase or overreact, it signals insecurity, exactly what her fake disinterest test is meant to reveal. Understanding the psychology behind her behavior can help you stay objective. Women often test confidence because they are assessing reliability, emotional stability, and resilience. These traits are important in forming deeper connections and ensuring that the person they engage with is a suitable partner. By responding thoughtfully and intentionally, you reinforce these qualities without falling into manipulation yourself. Ultimately, the goal is not to win the test but to remain grounded, composed, and self-assured. Recognize that her tests are natural evaluations, and your responses can either reinforce attraction or diminish it. Passing these subtle social experiments requires a combination of emotional intelligence, self-respect, and psychological awareness. Real-life examples of her tests. To understand the fake disinterest trick in real life, let's look at examples that make it clear how women unconsciously test a man's confidence. These aren't made-up stories, they reflect patterns psychologists and relationship experts observe frequently. Consider a man texting a woman he likes. Suddenly, her replies become short and delayed. She used to respond quickly, but now she acts distant. This is a classic confidence test. She wants to see if he will overreact, become needy, or lose his composure. A confident response is calm and measured, maybe waiting to reply, keeping the tone light, or focusing on his own activities without showing frustration. Panic, excessive messages, or attempts to demand attention reveal insecurity. Another common scenario happens in social settings. Imagine a couple at a party. She flirts subtly with someone else, making eye contact or laughing more loudly than usual. The test is not about the other person, it's about his reaction. Does he stay composed, engage socially, and maintain confidence, or does he withdraw, frown, or confront her? A calm, secure demeanor passes the test, overreacting fails it. Workplace dynamics can also serve as subtle tests. Suppose she constantly questions a man's decisions or makes ambiguous statements to gauge his assertiveness. A man who maintains clarity, communicates calmly, and doesn't over-explain demonstrates strong confidence. Conversely, insecurity leads to over-apologizing, defensiveness, or emotional outbursts, exactly what the test is designed to expose. Even casual conversations can reveal hidden tests. She may talk about an ex or hypothetical situations like, what if someone more successful asked you out? The purpose is to see if he remains grounded or becomes anxious. Confidence is shown through steady responses without jealousy or unnecessary explanations. She isn't looking for perfection, she's observing stability, emotional control, and self-respect. A critical insight from psychology: these tests are often unconscious. Women do not always deliberately manipulate, they are instinctively evaluating traits that predict a stable, secure, and attractive partner. Understanding this shifts the perspective: these actions aren't personal attacks but social signals. Recognizing the patterns helps men respond correctly. In real life, men who learn to pass these subtle tests tend to experience healthier, more balanced relationships. They maintain self-respect, reduce conflict, and deepen trust. Men who fail frequently struggle with anxiety, jealousy, and miscommunication. By studying real-life examples and observing responses, it becomes clear: confidence is measured not by words but by consistency in action and emotional steadiness. It is the silent strength that turns subtle tests into opportunities for deeper connection. How to protect your confidence and respond smartly. When a woman uses their fake disinterest trick, the way you respond determines the outcome. Confidence isn't about pretending to be unbothered or playing games, it's about emotional control, self-respect, and clarity in your actions. Men often misread her behavior as rejection, which triggers anxiety or frustration. This reaction feeds into the very insecurity she is testing. Understanding the psychology behind it allows you to stay calm and act deliberately. First, always maintain emotional steadiness. If she replies slowly or acts distant, avoid bombarding her with messages or over-explaining yourself. Instead, focus on your own life, work, hobbies, and social interactions. This demonstrates that your self-worth doesn't hinge on her attention. Confidence is shown by consistency in behavior, not by overcompensation. Next, interpret her behavior objectively. Psychologists explain that her disinterest is rarely personal. It's a subtle evaluation of your reaction patterns, emotional stability, and self-assurance. Recognizing that these moments are tests, not attacks, allows you to respond rationally rather than emotionally. For example, if she brings up a past relationship or teases about other men, respond calmly or redirect the conversation without tension. Avoid defensiveness, it signals insecurity. Clear communication is also essential. A confident man states his feelings when necessary but without being overbearing. For instance, if you sense confusion in her signals, you can address it briefly: I noticed some distance. Are we okay? This shows awareness and emotional maturity without sounding needy. Balance is key, showing interest while maintaining independence. Another practical strategy is self-reflection. Ask yourself if you are overreacting due to personal insecurities rather than her actions. The more you understand your triggers, the easier it is to stay composed. Self-confidence grows when you respond based on logic, not fear of loss or rejection. Lastly, patience is vital. Confidence is a long-term trait, not a reaction to one test. Consistently demonstrating composure, humor, and respect builds trust and signals emotional strength. She is naturally drawn to stability, and passing these subtle tests without drama strengthens the connection. Over time, you become less reactive to manipulative signals and more attuned to genuine intentions. In short, protecting your confidence involves emotional control, self-awareness, objective interpretation, and steady communication. When you respond smartly to subtle tests, you not only maintain your self-respect but also encourage healthier, more balanced relationships. Passing their fake disinterest trick isn't about winning or losing, it's about showing who you are, calm, secure, and grounded.